We are going to take a look at Star Citizen Roadmap Advanced Release View for March 2nd. This is 2 days ago, and showing us what's coming up in patch 3.17 and a little peek at 3.18. Let's jump right into it, beginning with the DNA head textures update. So, a couple of things to discuss here. First of all, they showed in recent Inside Star Citizen how they adding moisture to the bottom of the eye, and if they never said anything about that, I would have never paid attention. I wouldn't have cared. But now that they said that, I cannot stop looking very closely at other games, at the area around the eye, to see if they've done it. And you know what? They haven't. So thank you, Star Citizen, for making me notice something else now, which is bugging the hell out of me in every other game I play. But definitely keeping up with the head texture updates. Another point to raise here very quickly is people have concerns that Star Citizen is taking so long to make. When the game does release, how will it look compared to other games at the time? So we know that Unreal 5, the game engine, looks spectacular. How will Star Citizen look compared to newer, fresher game engines? And the answer is, it'll look good. It'll look great. It will, because they can keep on updating the way things look, as we see right here with DNA head textures being updated yet again. It'll keep up, and it has been keeping up very, very nicely. Next in line, Lorville Hospital. Maria, Pure of Heart, is coming along. Space stations and their clinics with the different variations. The coffee shop vendor, which was a topic of endless ridicule, because when the roadmap changed, this is like the only thing they left in there. People thinking this is stupid. Why? But keep in mind, the AI content team that's doing the coffee shop vendor also does the bartender. And the bartender, the guy you interact with, is going to be a major mission giver. So it's not out of the question that everything they do for the coffee shop vendor is the same technology for the bartender, which is someone that you have to interact with in the game, who's going to dish out missions to you. It is kind of important. And moving down to mining gadgets. So this is important. I think these are very, very cool. If you are ever out solo mining in your prospector, guaranteed you have come across the mother lode, but your laser just cannot crack it. You check Discord, all your friends are asleep. What do? You don't want to lose this. Well, the mining gadgets will now be these disposable, these one-time use items you stick onto the rock. Some of them will have different features, but there'll be one which will allow your relatively lower power laser to perhaps crack the rock that you were unable to crack before, or maybe give it a bigger sweet spot to make it easier. All these different mining gadgets coming in to add a lot of depth, I feel, to the mining profession, which I'm interested to know if they'll translate over to salvage. We can discuss that when that comes around, but great little feature, and I know mining players are curious to see how that's going to work out for them. Ship-to-ship refueling. Yes, very important, but also a great little hidden game loop, which I'm curious to see if it comes its way to Star Citizen. Not yet, because we only have one system, but as the game expands. Now, in Elite Dangerous, there's this group of players called the Fuel Rats. That's it. Fuel Rats are the guys you call when you get stuck way out in the middle of nowhere. We're talking 5 days, 2 weeks out from nowhere. The Fuel Rats will come along and get a whole logistic line going to refuel you and bring you back to normal habitable space. So it's a interesting game mechanic that developed in Elite Dangerous, and I'm dying to see if we get our version of the Fuel Rats coming their way to Star Citizen once we have more places to explore. Obviously, very important ship-to-ship refueling. Selling items to shops. Yes, so if you are like me and you like doing those bunker missions, you end up with a ton of guns and armor. What do you do with them? At the moment, nothing. I'll leave them there to rot. But in the very near future, you collect them and you take them to the store and you sell them for extra money. I love the idea, because now you can earn more money by selling stuff, but also keep in mind that in the future you'll come across rare loot, and that rare loot is something you can sell to a shop. All ties in there. RSI Scorpius, let me say right now that I'm furious about the nerfs that the RSI Scorpius is about to get. I'm preempting. I'm getting ahead of the curve here by being angry ahead of the nerf of the RSI Scorpius. Will it get nerfed? Maybe they're going to be smart and pre-nerf the Scorpius and then buff it as people complain later. They may. But RSI Scorpius heavy fighter coming in. Very curious to see how it's going to work. I hope the wings are not made from paper and will fall off at the slightest hint of a breeze. But we'll see where the weaknesses for the RSI Scorpius lie very, very soon. And cargo haulers rejoice. The Misk Hull A making its way in. Gorgeous little hauling ship. And gonna be a big money maker itself. Rivers Cortec new. This was first snuck in. I guess the peak of it was, they gave us a small peek about it. I want to say about a year ago at this point. So there's an entire Inside Star Citizen talking about the rivers. Now I'll do a separate video about that because it is pretty big. And it does add a lot of life to the planets and moons, wherever it's going to be introduced. They've taken a lot of time to build this into the game engine itself, where all you have to do is, say, click a button, I want a river from there to there, and the game engine will do it all. Put in the rocks, the erosion, the trees, everything it needs. Drains into a basin. I'm not really sure how it's going to work just yet, but there's going to be one river available for us to check in 3.17, and we'll talk more about that in another video, so subscribe and stay tuned for that. 3.18, what do you have for us? Not much, but let's take a look at what 3.18 will offer. First of all, the cargo system refactor. So this is big. This is very big. I'm curious to see what role the Argo Raft is going to have. I think the Argo Raft is a spectacularly beautiful ship that is going to be very, very important. So when the cargo system refactor comes in, the Argo Raft will have its, can carry, was it three of the large boxes? I forget how many SCUs it is, but it'll use the tractor beams to load those big cargo containers and then take them off with the planet or wherever it needs to go. I think there's going to be a lot of interesting missions and game loops for ships which can do that. So dying to see what they have in store for cargo system refactor. Salvage. All right, so CIG said if it's in the roadmap now, very likely that it will come. So is 3.18 the patch for salvage? Fingers crossed. Let's see, because salvage gameplay will bring a lot to it, much like mining. So if you don't like mining rocks, but you do like finding wrecks or exploring wrecks and salvaging and hull stripping, this is it. I can expect that the early gameplay mechanic will be very similar to mining, where you simply aim a beam at a piece of metal and it's going to draw in whatever is being stripped off the hull, and that's the stuff you sell and make money from. Much later it'll come to a point where you have to actually break the metal apart, and we'll see what happens there, but there's definitely a lot of work to be done. And with that will come the Drake Vulture, which is the equivalent of the Prospector. So solo salvage miners, I'm going to say salvage miners, solo salvagers out there looking for the best solo ship at the moment is the Drake Vulture. That will do it. And if you want to do it by hand, the Grey Cat multi-tool salvage attachment will be coming with that. So as I said, fingers crossed for 3.18. Dying to get some new game loops in there and hoping that salvage is one of them. And with that, we're wrapped up. But before I go, I gotta say that our thoughts are with everyone in Ukraine, and let's not forget the poor Russian kids being sent over to fight a war that they don't even want. Let's just hope this all ends much sooner than later, and our thoughts are with you. If you enjoy my content, you know what to do. Thumbs up, subscribe, your comments below appreciated. Catch you in the next one.